If you are, like me, a Rafa fan, you're probably reeling from his loss at the ongoing US Open in the round of 16. This video, however, isn't about Nadal. It's about Francis Tiafoe and how, when life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. Constant Tiafoe and Alfina Camara were immigrants from Sierra Leone who escaped from the Civil War and met at Washington, D.C. In 1998, when they were both working, Constant as a day laborer and Alfina as a nurse, Francis and Franklin were born. Constant continued working at the Junior Tennis Champions Center as a head custodian, and that meant he needed to keep really long hours. So he converted a storage room into an overnight living space. And because Kamara worked night shifts as a nurse, the kids would spend most nights every week in the storage room. Francis recalls it was a pretty small room. There were 2 massage tables in there. My father slept on one, and me and my brother, we were small enough to share the other. But the living situation was the one that they knew. It was what they had to do to survive. The parents were trying to make ends meet, and his dad was trying to give him a chance for them to have a good setting after school. But because he literally grew up at JTCC, he would walk around with racket in hand at the tennis complex, and while he was too young to take those opponents on, he was old enough to learn. Veska Ponka, who's the founder of JTCC, said of him that you would find him sitting on the bench. He was so small that his feet wouldn't even touch the ground. But he would watch the top players and the coaches who were working with them, and he was always completely focused. And then he would go to the back wall of the facility and mimic everything that he saw. Now, their family wasn't really well-to-do, so they would see a lot of the rich kids coming into the orbit playing in their chauffeur-driven Rolls Royce. And some of the kids were pretty mean to Tiafoe. Oh, they would ask things like, "What's with that same Pikachu shirt you wear every day? Your big toe is sticking out of that hole in your shoes. You need a new pair. Why are you wearing khaki shorts out here while playing tennis?" And these jokes really hurt. It made him feel in the back of his mind that he was not cut from the same cloth. And the thing is, as his first coach said, it was not that he was more talented than the other 8-year-olds, but what he did was his dedication to the game. When the coach was there, came to work first thing in the morning, Tiafoe was there. When he left at night, he was there. So the coach saw this kid who was always there, and a kid to whom he could teach as much tennis as he wanted to. And at the age of 12, Tiafoe knew he wanted to be a professional tennis player, and he went and told his parents. And they said, "You must be crazy." And while they didn't have great dreams about them wanting to be lawyers or doctors, they wanted him to have a regular degree. But instead of following his parents' advice, Tiafoe decided to follow guidance from actor Will Smith. And this is the line that resonated with him: "There is no reason to have a plan B because it distracts from plan A." So Tiafoe at 12 put all his chips on plan A. And for him, he felt his parents really didn't come from a tennis background, and they didn't know what his skill sets were. And they would soon find out, of course, because by the time he turned pro at 16, he was offered to join as a wild card at the main draw of his first Grand Slam at the 2015 French Open. And he would be the first American to do that since Michael Chang and Pete Sampras did in 1989. Now, Tiafoe, what is amazing about him is that he is able to introspect and actually be humble about the whole process. And he says he's not sure whether what he would have accomplished would have been possible had he not lived a life differently? I mean, if I had all the opportunity in my life, would I have wanted this bad? Would I have gone to school? Would I think it would have been bigger than tennis? Would I care for it as much as I do now? And he says, the life I led, even with all the struggles, was a blessing in disguise. This was meant to happen. And he has this beautiful note to share to the kids. I'm living the dream that I tell kids about when I speak to them. And he says, it's not about where you are, it's where you're going, and be obsessed about being great. What an inspiring journey, and it continues. What are some of the things that connect to you when you're hearing this, and where can you use this example to make a point? Do share in the comments.